Welcome, and thank you for your interest in Resolve Trenchless Technologies, the leading underground non-invasive water and sewer line replacement specialists in the tri-state area. What you're about to see is a brief video explaining our trenchless technologies and methods that we use to replace your water and sewer lines underground, subsurface, without destroying expensive properties such as cement, parking lots, driveways, cement slabs of your home, and also precious grass that many have spent a lot of time grooming. Some of the pictures you see in the background are final products or the finished result after replacing a water line. The process is pretty simple for water and sewer line. Essentially, we make a small pit at the termination of your line before it enters the street. Insert a cable inside the existing water line and set a hydraulic machine that uses about 20 tons worth of pressure to pull out or burst your existing water line while pulling the new water line in tow. The picture that you're about to see is an old school method of trenching your yard to give you a brief idea of what a standard water line replacement could look like. As you can see here, this is what they call the trenched method. Essentially is a 1 to 2 foot wide trench from your house where the water line exits to the street or to the curb stop or meter where your water line enters the supply from the municipality or the city in the street. As you can see, by doing this, anything that is above that water line must be ripped out and replaced. It could be cement, it could be, in this case, you see an old tree roots. When this occurs, usually companies are pretty good when it comes to replacing the dirt and leveling it out, maybe some grass seed or some raking. But there's some areas with very thick and bad clay, or if it was very wet, you might see a depression, or if your ground was very compact, you might see a mound that could take 6 months to a year to replace. Or get back to what your yard looked like prior to the excavation. This could take time, it could take money, it could take a little bit of both. But by utilizing our trenchless methods, essentially we don't have to do this and can just get away with a very small pit that's very non-invasive and non-intrusive. Such as this picture you see here, which is the final product after we replaced a 50-foot copper water line and put back the grass that we took off after the excavation. What we have here is a 200-foot, 1.25-inch water line. This is the water line up by the house. As you can see, you have the old water line. Here we have a cutter, a cone, and a head, and the new water line with the tracing wire is connected to it. This coil of hose you see here is the water we gave the customer, temporary water, to get them through the weekend. As you can see, their water line goes under all these trees, a tamped paved patio, and then all these pine trees. If you were to do this in the traditional method, where you see this temporary water line, the backhoe would pretty much, to save all these trees, the backhoe would have to dig a 200-foot long trench on the outside of these trees, destroying all the clothesline, all this grass, and then dig in between these trees with hopes that we don't damage the root structure. But because the customer decided to use trenchless technologies, we will be pulling this 200-foot water line here in a minute from this pit that you see is only about 5 foot by 5 foot wide and 4 feet deep. And then afterwards we'll backfill, rake, seed, clean up their yard, and it'll look like we're almost never here. As you can see, we have the hydraulic generator powering the machine. And as these pistons rise and pull, it's pulling the cable out. pistons pull, the cable's getting pulled out of the water line. So now the pipe's being pulled in. And then after the rest of this cable's pulled in, it'll come through on the other end, and the water line will be done. Alright, here we are about an hour and a half later, and you'll see the head starting to come through. There's the double blade cutter. It's cutting the pipe. Boom. And then behind it, you'll see the head, and then right behind the head is the new pipe in tow. See how it cuts that pipe right in half, making room for the new pipe. Alright, there's the head here, and then here's the new pipe along for the ride. Now once we disassemble this machine, we'll reconnect the new pipe to the meter box, and their water line is replaced with minimal to no damage of their property. Here you'll see one of our similar machines doing a sewer line pipe burst. In this case, it's just a short pull about 20 feet of a storm sewer in order to save the tree that you just saw on the right there. It ran right underneath the tree, and to rip out the tree and its root structure would incur so much damage and cost, let alone damaging a beautiful and historic tree. So in this case, it's the same process, except we use a 2-inch chain that goes inside your existing sewer line, and then on the other end, instead of a 3/4 or 1-inch water line, we have a 4-inch sewer line that is, as you see here, being pulled in and bursting through the existing storm sewer. As it continues on, the old sewer is essentially bursted out or destroyed underground, making room for the new sewer to be pulled in its place. And as you'll see in the next clip, the machine strength is actually pulling the old sewer out of the ground and crushing it while the new sewer is being pulled in its place. So here in a few minutes you would see the head come through. We would disassemble the machine and reconnect the sewer from this point on, and saving this tree and I believe part of the sidewalk that the sewer went under. So our capabilities are really limitless to whatever job that you would need us to complete for you.